There we go. And let me get over here to live chat. All right, the picture is still booting. And we're live. Good morning, friends. We are a few minutes late today. Well, more than a few. You got the two lights up there are bothering it. These. There you go. That was the right one. Yeah, perfect. Oh, boy, howdy. Everybody's here.
Hello.
Good morning, friends. Boy, there's a lot of you already. How are we doing this morning? Raspberry says, good morning. Hope you slept well with all the fireworks.
We did.
They saw Spider-Man yesterday with their family.
Oh, nice.
And we have a Bethany and a Nixia. Thank goodness you guys are here because, boy, howdy. Oh, wait, microphone. Sorry. There you go. Is that better? Can you hear me better now? Oh, Ellen's here. And Vilko's here. Do you ship to Finland? Because I'm from Finland and I joined the journaling giveaway. Yes, we will ship to Finland. And boom, boom day. You're funny. Haven't been able to make it lately. How are you? Says Colorful Thinker.
We're good. We're good. Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, we can see it really well.
See it okay?
Yeah, we can see it fine. Yeah. So we have a little fun surprise for you guys today. We're going to talk about photo reference.
Pencil sharpener. So you guys remember when I did the...
Okay, hold on. Show them what you're using this morning to do your photo reference and to do your things in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The front of the sketchbook. Show them the front of the sketchbook again. There you go. Okay. So this is what Scott's using for just thumbnails, you guys. Okay? Strathmore Basic Sketchbook.
So remember we did this? This turned out into the Gothic Vampire, but we took a single photo and we tried different things. Mm-hmm. This might be my next one. I don't know. With the dragon. This one we didn't really find anything we really liked. But I thought I would go and buy some more photo reference. And I bought a whole bunch of photo reference.
He didn't. He it's a ton.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so look at some of these. I mean, these are
Show
wonderful.
them the details, though. Like, there's a mirror on the desk. Go back and show them the details. And when you look at it, you'll see there's a reflection in the mirror. And see, Scott just has an eye for beautiful photo reference, in my humble opinion. That's just.
I mean, just this right here would make a beautiful painting.
Yes.
You know, they give you nice close-ups.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The dresses are lovely.
And they changed up the dress for this one.
And the headpiece. Yeah.
So this is one set, but let me show you guys a couple more. I bought a whole bunch of sets.
He's not kidding.
Here's a pirate.
What should I search on Pinterest when I want to find some female photo reference? I get a bunch of random selfies when I want a bunch of professionally photographed images. Any tips?
Yeah, there's a link on our channel, or on our page, under resources. There's photo reference, and there's links to. These are paid photo reference, and it's like $6 to $10 for like hundreds of things. It's not a lot of money. It's not going to break your bank. These I find are the best, and then there's also a bunch of free ones that I also link to as well. So if you remember, the Gothic Vampire painting was based off of a photograph. So remember this?
We do indeed.
Okay. So this was based off a photograph. Now the photograph was not a model. She wasn't giving away her photos as photo reference for free. It wasn't paid stock or anything like that. So I reached out to the artist because she's a costume designer. So I reached out to her and I asked her if I could pay her for the rights because I want to make prints of this. And so we negotiated a price. She wants a percentage of the sales. So let's say I give her 5% of the sales, and I sell $1,000 worth of print. So I make $1,000 in profit. She would get $50. So essentially, you should always pay credit if you're using. I used 90% of her photo. I didn't alter much, and so I really needed to compensate her in some way. Now this was actually a free pack, but it's free. So in other words, they're giving it away free, and you could use it any way you want to. It still wouldn't be a bad thing to credit the artist for giving it away if you feel like it, but it's not mandatory. Do
you have to pay for the print? We're going to make.
We're making prints, which
right.
means we're sending them out to a printing company. We're having them make up posters, and then we're gonna sell them
on the website. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what he's talking about right now.
So now this one, let's see. Can you guys see this okay? Okay, so this one, let's say I paid $8 for it. And with that $8 comes the rights to use it any way I wish. I don't owe anything. They've given me the permission to use the reference. I could paint it exactly, or I could paint it
any way you want. You can use it for whatever you want.
But this is something that I think is a really good deal. And I go to ArtStation, but there's Gumroad and there's a bunch of other places. Again,
someone mentioned Pexels has free photo reference.
Great.
Pexels.
But I think these are wonderful. I mean, look at this.
The lighting is beautiful.
Yeah. And there's 613 photos in this $8 pack.
Wow.
613. So let's go to like 247.
Please don't be a nude.
No, I checked them all.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll add props. They'll sometimes change costumes. Let's go to 355. Yeah, so now she's got a dagger. Bow and arrow. I mean, look at that.
Everybody wants you to do a dragon.
The dragon one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and hear me out, okay? If we were to go back to this one with the dragon, right? Wouldn't this be a better pose than this? Because I didn't really love this.
The back?
Yeah, this one. So imagine if we did something like
okay, pull the thing down because we can't see the top of it. Thank you. Perfect. And tell everybody what pencil you're using.
I'm just using a watercolor pencil.
Why did you choose a watercolor pencil?
Because they're cheaper than the Prismacolor pencils.
Gotcha.
So we could do something like this. Have the little bow here, and then have the dragon.
Yeah, that's lovely.
You know? Could do
yeah,
something
you're right.
Like that.
The way she's facing is...
But is it better if the picture is more like this and you get all the way down
Oh, that might be nicer.
to here?
With the whole bow and arrow.
Yeah, yeah. So something like that, and then the dragon.
Oh, One Up Girl's here. Morning.
Like that. Good morning. And then the other thing that might be kind of cool is, what do we have in the background? Do we have some cool like rocky spires? Do we have other dragons flying around? What are other things that we can do with it? But you're looking at...
I like a castle background.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Stones.
So I'm saying I like the thin horizontal. I love the feel of that. This feels more dramatic than this, but I do like seeing that. So the other thing I could do is I could do the thin one, and we could just go a little higher up with her.
Then you lose the details, though.
Yeah, yeah, but
you're not as close up.
But here's the thing: the smaller she is, the bigger the dragon feels.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Now the dragon feels gargantuan. So these are cool things. And then of course I got to think, well, I just did a painting where my character was on the left. Do I want to do that like twice in a row? And it's silly to think that way, but you do, but
why do you think okay, I guess that's a dumb question.
It's like do you want to go into work wearing like
the same black shirt outfit, and black pants every day?
It's a different shirt, but it's still black, and it's just that feeling of that. But these are so good for photo reference. They got sitting ones.
I love how involved you two are in discussing the composition. He asks my opinion. He never uses my opinion, but he asks my opinion, which is funny.
That's how I rule out the bad ideas.
Yeah, he listens to my thoughts on it, and then he does the opposite. Stop for a second. I love the lighting behind her.
Yeah,
so you're lighting her from the back.
See, and here's the thing. So if I was going to do this, I'd want to paint this more in gouache, because it's better. You get better lighting and texture with gouache than you do with watercolor.
Now, how did you know that? Is it just from the fact that
practice?
From practice.
Yeah, okay. Like I feel like.
Okay.
I get.
Oh, Santa's here and says, "Love the perspective change. Does that mean I could draw myself next to a giant cookie?"
Exactly.
Only if you promised Mrs. Claus you wouldn't eat the giant cookie.
All right, let's take a look at a different set of photo reference and see what we get out of it.
Okay, how about if we do this? Because a lot of people are asking where we purchase photo references from. There's a resources page on our website, and there's a thing there, a link there to where Scott's purchased before. Did you purchase these photo references from the same place or a different place?
Yeah, ArtStation.
Okay, so these all came from ArtStation. So that's where we are.
All right, let's see here. So these aren't really striking me yet. Not really fond of the dress.
What if the character's in the middle and the dragon has open wings in the background?
Exactly. There's so many things we could do. So a question for you would be, do you guys want to do... Hold a second, pencil sharpener. Would you guys want to do something where we... people have been asking a lot for me to do something like a Patreon or something where we get a little bit more involved rather than just me making videos where maybe we work on stuff together. So would you want to do something where we have a Patreon where we will do
like a painting a month.
Yeah, or
so.
yeah, like we'll pick something. I'll bring out some photo reference. We'll pick a subject, and everybody will try their own style in painting, and we'll try different things together. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that would be fun. Again, I'm not a teacher, so I don't want to put myself in that position. But I think if we're kind of doing the same thing and we're kind of working towards a similar goal, it's kind of it could be fun. And so like it could be this month is Pirate Month. And so I'll bring out a bunch of photo reference that I'll purchase. I'll get permission from the
artists.
from the photographer to say, hey, is it okay if I use these and I share them with my Patreons? Something like that.
Okay, so many questions this morning. Because you've been talking.
Okay,
so.
See this? This is a gesture drawing.
What do you mean a gesture drawing?
This. So this is when you're doing fast figure drawing, you got to say, okay, this is the motion right here. And then you can kind of come in and this arm's going under, this arm's coming up. You just do stick figures. And because you've only got a minute, so you kind of got to get all of the...
I can do that. Yeah. I can do stick people.
Yeah. And then you just kind of do this. You go, okay, here's the sash.
Let's see. People are concerned about the price of the Patreon.
Yeah, again, I'm trying to figure this out because it's going to be a lot of extra work, and it's not really something I want to do, but it was something that a lot of people have been asking for because they go, "Do you do classes?" And I'm going, well, "No, I really don't."
One Up Girl says Scott may not consider him a teacher, but you can teach in many ways, so I do think he's a teacher. When painting with larger brushes, how do you prevent them from going all spiky and spindly? I would go to Bethany Primrose's most recent videos. She's got stuff on brush care, and that's going to probably be really good for you because Scott doesn't care for his brushes at all. Would you have any recommendations for sketchbooks that are around A5 size and work with pencils or watercolor?
What's A5 size?
The A5 size is going to be your Be Creative.
Yeah, the Be Creative is the one that I like best for watercolor. I wouldn't use it for pencils. If you're going to go pencils, you can use just anything. I like, actually, I have...
The sketchbook Scott used on Monday is a Strathmore 400 series sketchbook. And that's a 9x12 size. 9 inches by 12 inches.
This one.
That you haven't started yet. That's also a Strathmore 400.
Where's the one that I bought from
what?
Plaza? I bought a hardbound version of this.
Oh, honey, I have no idea what.
No, here it is. Huh. A hardbound version. It's a little bit big. I like the hardbound.
That's a 5x5, 5.5 by 8.5.
8.5. And this one's a little smaller. But I like these because they're tanned.
Tan paper is awesome.
Yeah.
Scott, if you don't want much extra work, do you have a Ko-fi? We can just give money.
We don't need the money so much as if we're going to be doing, and thank you for offering, but if we're going to be doing something extra, then, I that's going to be right now I'm burnt out from creating videos 5 times a week and going live 3 times a week. It's a lot. So to say, hey, and we're going to add X, that's just what we're thinking of. But I mean, I like the idea of us working on projects together, kind of like a figure drawing class or painting class or whatnot. But I'm really not seeing anything here that's...
Scott does not like making his own watercolors or paints or anything like that. So he would not, that's not something he would do.
There's 947 photos in this series.
What do you think of Iron Maiden?
Iron Maiden? God, I listened to some of it when I was in high school, but never really got into them.
It's amazing how perfectly timed this is. I was just dabbling in thumbnail sketches thanks to your video. Now we're getting a whole live. That's jovial.
Fantastic. All right, so this one is Sisters of Regency. So
Steph nerd.
Regency dresses.
And in case you guys don't know, the Regency era is Jane Austen, which we're doing Jane Austen July right now. And reading through some fun books. I love her hair. It's so pretty and soft.
So some of these you could just go, you know what, this would make a nice portrait, you know, and just do a portrait.
So here's another question. How to differentiate tone and color from reference and know where to place them in my own drawing, because I struggle a lot with that part of the process.
I don't. And... Sorry, pencil sharpener.
You don't struggle with it, or you don't know how to answer it?
I don't struggle with it because, and therefore I'm not 100% sure if I know how to answer that. For me, I'm looking at, and this is why I'm not a teacher, but for me, I'm looking at a photo for reference. So, you know, once you have your your proportions and everything all set. Let's just do this real quick.
Okay. So let's answer some more questions while we're here.
You're going to be looking at the You're talking about, what was it, values and... Donna?
What? Values and, oh shoot, that was the other comment. Values and tone. Tone and color, not values. Tone and color.
Tone and color.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So... And my apologies, because again, I mean, I slept through most of my art school stuff, so I don't even know.
You didn't sleep through figure drawing. Nobody slept through figure drawing.
Robert Bradley wouldn't let you. But I'm looking at the photo. You guys are looking at the photo here, okay? Mm-hmm. And you're able to see the...
Blick is here, by the way.
Oh, hey, Blick.
They're talking about easels in the background and using easels for work.
It's the photo reference. It's life that's going to give it to you. That's going to give you the information that you're looking for. So that's why I'm a little unsure how to answer that, because for me, if someone says, how do you draw a cat? And I go, well, I look at a cat and then I draw it. How do you draw a house? Well, I look at a house and then I draw it. That's why that answer is always so hard for me to understand. And maybe it's an autism thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too literal. But for me, it's you look at the thing that you want to draw and then you draw what you see. That's it. So if you're saying, well, how do you get your values right? Well, I look and this is darker than that. This is lighter than this. That's my values. It's what I see. Mm-hmm. And I hope that doesn't in any way belittle or anything. I'm just explaining why I'm having a hard time answering the question, is because
we're not deflecting.
Yeah, for me, it's just its values is based on what you're seeing, and if you're having a hard time understanding what you're seeing, then I think maybe a lot of that is going to be in just the the practice in drawing what you see.
ODW says, so I am doing a drawing where someone is on the balcony of a castle, and I want to include all the details, but my paper is only 9 by 12. Should I get larger paper or keep smaller detail?
You know, drawing larger like I did with the Gothic vampire thing, let me put in more detail. I've been drawing smaller all the time, and you kind of you can have more detail the larger you go. You really can, but just understand that is going to take up more of your time, and now that painting is going to be, you know, could be weeks instead of days.
Apocalyptic says, I just bought a pack of unopened watercolor tubes from a thrift store and have been loving them, but I'm curious, what are the differences between these aquarelles and gouache?
Okay, what is it? I got the aquarelles and gouache.
Apocalyptics bought a pack of unopened watercolor tubes from a thrift store and have been loving them.
Oh, yeah, there's
but
a
they
video
are
on
curious.
the difference between... Okay, so...
Yes, what's the difference?
So watercolors are more transparent. Gouache are more opaque. So if you saw when I was doing the Gothic vampire piece, what I did was I did it originally in inks, and then I went over it with watercolors, because the watercolors are transparent, so they're going to go over the inks but not cover them up. But when I wanted to come in with some highlights, I came in with gouache, because gouache is opaque. Gouache will go over the watercolors. It'll go over the inks, which is why I had to re-ink some parts, because gouache is opaque. Watercolors are transparent. Watercolors can be opaque. If you use them straight from the tube, they can be, but they're just meant to be watered down and transparent.
Scott has not painted any national holidays from other countries. He's painted national animals from other countries. Tell Light Night what your favorite medium is to use.
Right now it's ink and watercolor. Pencil sharpener. So this is nice, like this.
That's lovely.
You know? And so there are 1,200 photos in this set. And, you know, the photographer and the model, they just took a bunch of photos for the day. They changed costumes, they changed lighting, they changed props, etc., etc. All right, and that's there to inspire you. That's there for you and you can create full-on art, gallery art, commercial art, whatever you want to do from it, and I think that, you know, like this art is just waiting to be kind of plucked, you know, out of the air and used. And the thing is, we can all use the same photo reference if we wanted to and come up with different kind of art.
Okay. Talk about the supplies that you're using right now.
Well, I am just using... God, her head's going to be so small. I am just using a watercolor pencil because I like drawing with. I like the feel of like Prismacolors and watercolor pencils. I like to draw with them.
What kind of watercolor pencil is this?
It's a cheap one. It is
just stop drawing and show
Pentel, I think. Yeah, by Pentel.
Okay. So super cheap watercolor pencil because it's really smooth and flows over the paper well.
Yeah.
And you're using a Strathmore. Is it a mixed media sketchbook? What is it?
I think it's just a regular sketchbook.
Just a sketchbook.
It's a 400 series, but it's just not the tanned one.
Okay. All right, we're gonna link the website that Scott used to get these is called ArtStation, and we will. Do we have a link there in our thing?
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
Okay,
there's
it's on the website.
ArtStation stuff in there. It's not these particular ones because I literally just bought them this morning. But you can find them, and if there's anyone in particular that you see that I'm trying today, just let me know, and I'll be happy to figure it out and say the name is this or the name is that.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions on what to draw as a beginning artist?
Well, yeah, there's a series called Draw Everything Every Day. And where we start off by drawing a boot or a stapler or
A teapot.
a
salt
or
and
something
pepper
like that.
shaker.
That's what I would recommend, is just to fill your sketchbook with just the items around you. Just keep drawing every day to get used to
Drawing things that you see.
Yeah, and you're seeing, so again, you're seeing value, because I know some of you are worried about, like, how do you go lighting? How do you, well, here it is. Look, I'm looking at where the values are. The shadow is on this side of the face, it's on this side of the body, that kind of thing. This is how I know. I could make it up, but I'm going to learn from looking at the real world or looking at photos.
Yeah. Shivish, I hope that answers that question for you. Drawing realistic things, just drawing things that you see around you. Are y'all okay? Donna sounds kind of sad this morning. Yeah, I'm not sad. I just went to drink this second cup of tea that I made and it doesn't taste good. I don't know why. So I'm tempted to go upstairs and make a different cup. Because it doesn't taste good. I don't know why. Let's see. Yeah, Scott does not do oil paints, and he doesn't particularly care for acrylics either.
Pencil sharpener. So, like this one, you could probably turn into like a Greek statue, Greek or Roman statue.
Oh, you could.
Like if you had like.
So hold on a second. Take a pause for a second. So what you're seeing with this photo reference is you look at this and you think to yourself, I could take this and I could use it for face value for what it is, or I could take it and morph it into something else.
Yeah, so like you could have like an explorer, and then there's this giant statue, kind of thing that they're looking on.
Bad tea is the worst. I feel you. Yeah, I went to drink the second cup. It's just not so good, you guys. I don't know if I brewed it wrong or what, but that just goes to show you can brew it inappropriately. For watercolor realism, should I ink my sketch or not?
If you're talking realism, no, there's no inking in realism. Inking is a stylized thing that gives you that kind of comic book kind of look. But if you're going for realism, I wouldn't even use watercolors. I'd go with something like colored pencils or oils or acrylics or gouache or something. But watercolors are a little arty.
Arty? Really?
Arty.
Blick, is that a term? Arty? Really? Okay, so the mods today have their work cut out for them because there's a lot of you here and this chat is going fast. So thank you to all of you for answering the questions and helping me keep up with all of this.
But you see what I'm saying? Like you could do this and then have it all be just stone. And you got this person looking up in the scale. This is, but like you don't have to paint it exactly as you see it. You can say, ooh, this would make a great statue.
Okay. So, you guys are funny. There's a video on hands. There's a video on lots of other things, faces and all sorts of things in the Art Hacks playlist. And I know that the mods have put the link in the chat to the Art Hacks playlist. The references came from ArtStation. Scott just bought a whole bunch of references today.
Oh, look at these, dear.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that one. Your favorite thing to draw, honey? Hands.
Lots of hands.
Emma, bad tea is a crime. Yeah, I know. Should be. Do you have a preference on which historical period you base your art on?
I do. I love dresses. I don't have a particular, like these are Regency. And then earlier we were looking at, I love fantasy. Here's an elf. I love something like this.
You also like the ones where they're out in nature.
Yeah. This one is a paladin, which is cool. And then, what was the one we were just looking at? That period drama one.
If you think I'm going to remember the number, you're crazy.
Now these. So what is this? Victorian? What, like...
Yeah, I think Victorian.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not great with that.
I think that's Edwardian, actually.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, this is probably a different era than this. You see what I'm saying? Like, these are two different eras. But to me, it's like the pre-Raphaelites. It's the Romantic period. It's very similar. So here, I will show you.
We use Wix.com for our website. But you can do it. I mean, Etsy's not great. I don't want to recommend Etsy if you haven't, because they do charge you for the website, and you pay to have their website, but it's very customizable, and you can have a store and have your back end all through the website. So it's not a bad idea, but Etsy does offer more.
Can you guys see the book okay?
Yes, we can see the book.
So these are my inspirations, is the pre-Raphaelite era.
You know what?
Like this.
While you do that in the book, I'm going to go make another cup of tea because this is terrible.
Okay. So I like stuff like Ophelia from Malay. Let's see. Things like this. Let's see. Another one of my favorites might be Rossetti. So again, I don't know. I know that they would do theirs. There's symbolism in them. They're based on stories. But for me, I just want to make a pretty painting. And then there's Maxfield Parrish. See if I can find. Like this one. The Knave of Hearts. A lot of these were for advertisements. This is for General Electric, actually, which is kind of funny. And then, of course, my absolute favorite is Alma Tadema. Apparently I've bookmarked all my favorite pieces. But his were in a lot of ways like Greek. This is Sappho and Alcacius. And there's a video on this where I go through all of these. Antony and Cleopatra. I love painting dresses like this. I think this stuff is really, really fun. So, anyways. So I don't have a favorite period. For me, it's just all the beauty of it. All right, let's look and see what other ones I picked up today. Another elf. I never liked daggers. Yeah, these are not that great, but I think there was a couple that I liked. Probably more of the, let's see. This one I could probably use something like this. Again, if the dresses look too modern, not interested. But lots of times the lighting will change my mood if it's interesting lighting. You like something like this. She's got a very elongated face, you know, which kind of gives you kind of an elf vibe to it.
Why is it so quiet?
What do you mean, why is it so quiet? You're not here.
Well, I understand that, but you gotta talk to people.
I've been talking.
Bethany says, man, it's weird quiet when Donna isn't in the room. Do not like. Okay.
So, with her face, you can kind of exaggerate it a little bit.
See, now you're talking, but I come back into the room?
No one could talk when you're in the room, honey.
You need me.
Mm-hmm.
You love me. Aw. What Donna's favorite tea? Also, what's her weirdest flavor she has tried? Okay, so this morning I was going to try this gunpowder. It's like a white tea. And I smelled it and I just went, no, not going to happen. So I'm back to the Harrods Knightsbridge blend, which is used to be the strong breakfast tea. I have tried a lot of flavors. No, he was talking. Okay. Well, Karen says, help, the wound I have is bleeding. Okay, wrap it in a paper towel and go get a Band-Aid. Obi-Mom Kenobi says he was talking, I promise.
So I'm trying to see if I could stylize this a little bit, but it's not looking that great.
Pride and Prejudice is my favorite Jane Austen novel. How to draw a perfect nose. Okay, first of all, there's no such thing as a perfect nose. Have you seen people around the world?
There's a video on drawing noses.
Correct. In Scott's defense, he was talking and it was informative as usual, says Ryan.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
Let's see. Oh, Red Johnston says, Donna is one of the best parts of the live. You're so sweet. I love her chaos, but I also like his calmness. Best couple, best mix. Oh, see, I'm the chaos. I love that.
Yeah, here's a prince.
A prince, like...
Different kind, like...
Not the musician.
A great reference to paint from, you know?
I like the folds in the clothes.
Yeah.
And the light and the shadows are nice in that one, too. How often did you sketch the twins when they were little?
I didn't. Yeah.
Seriously, you guys, twin boys? Like, how on earth would we even? I mean,
I've drawn them a lot in my sketchbook when we were sitting and having lunch and stuff like that. But
yeah, when they were playing cars or Legos on the little tables wherever we were. All right, the tea has brewed. We will take this out. Yes, I am brewing tea in front of the live today. Oh,
but you know, like,
you guys are
these
sweet.
These are really fun to sketch.
Ellen says, come for the Scott, stay for the Donna. You're so cute. A wholesome Hobbit and a wholesome tea obsessed, the perfect couple. You guys are funny. It's the wildest chocolate.
Again, if you guys are looking at this, you're going to go figure drawing. So I go start here, and you're going to look, the shoulders are going in this direction, the hips are going to be going in that direction. I think that's called a contrapposta.
Contrapposta. Is that Italian for male?
No, it's something. It's like I said, I really was a bad student.
You really were. Except figure drawing. You loved your figure drawing class. You really did. That was the one class you never wanted to miss.
It's got to be a little smaller.
Let's see. Scott, I need help finding a cartoon character to draw and post on my channel, please.
Spider-Man.
Do you have any tips for drawing a bit more weighted people?
Weighted. I'm assuming you're not talking about physically weighted.
I think maybe just people that are larger. Is that what you're asking, new account? Yes, Emma is correct. T is life. That is 100% correct.
See, I think I shortened him.
What do you mean you shortened him?
The proportions are off.
I don't like those colors on him. I think the orange makes him a little sallow. Let's see. Has Scott ever tried journaling before?
No, I mean, my journaling is a visual journal, and I do add my own notes and whatnot, but it is definitely not like what Donna does.
I tried journaling for years before I made it a consistent practice. And as for why I started, it was March 1st of 2020, and I read an article, which is how most of my stories start. I read an article that said, it was a professor, I can't remember where, what school or whatever, suggesting that during times of great significance in the world that you keep a journal of how you felt during such times. And he was telling this to his students. And I started journaling and I haven't stopped. So in the process of the last 3 years, I lost my dad. I lost my father-in-law. I lost my dog.
A few friends.
Yeah, we've lost a couple friends. Life has just been a very strange thing. And putting it down on paper has really helped me process a lot of my thoughts and my feelings. And it's given me a place to complain when I don't want to complain out loud, which I do very well, as Scott will attest. But sometimes you just want to do a brain dump, and it's been really, really great for that. It's also been really good for me to help me count my blessings and be grateful for the things that I do have, in spite of all the bad stuff in the world. You know, I have a roof over my head. I have plenty of food to eat. I have
You got lots of friends with you all.
Yeah, and that's actually been something I do remark about quite a lot, is that this being here with you guys has helped my mental health a lot. I have a lot of anxiety being post-COVID. I still wear a mask a lot of places. I have anxiety. I'm on medication for it. And I won't apologize for going through that and coming out on the other side with anxiety. But being here with all of you has been such a huge help. I feel like it's a social outlet for me. And it's been really great.
So you saw with the first one, my proportions were off. And I don't know.
Yeah, he did look funny.
Yeah.
Now that you've drawn this one, he did look funny.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that the proportions are perfect on this one either. But you can draw it again and try to get the proportions right.
Yeah, but that's really cool.
This was my favorite class in art school was figure drawing class. You just sit there and you just draw stuff like this all day long.
Yeah.
And you know, you when you have these sometimes like this would be like a 5-minute gesture drawing. Those were the funnest because you get only a certain amount of time, so no one's expecting it to be like photorealistic. You're just supposed to get your proportions. You're supposed to get, whatever little detail you could. And
is it mostly for the pose?
It's for the pose. It's to just practice getting good at drawing the big shapes and getting your proportions and the gesture and seeing how the body flows and whatnot. Because if you could do that, then you can go in and you could do the all of the the details later. But these are if you were going to do anything and you wanted to get better at art, do stuff like this.
Just sketch.
Yeah, I mean,
take a sketchbook with you wherever you go. Scott used to,
and he used
to sketch when we would go to restaurants and stuff, and you'd sketch the table. He'd sketch the restaurant. He'd sketch the people in the restaurant.
Yeah.
He'd sketch me. He'd sketch, the kids, whatever. What colors do you use for skin tones in gouache?
In gouache? Mm-hmm. It's very similar to what I do with the watercolors, and there's a list of the watercolors that I use.
Oh, thank God! Yes,
this tea is better. Site.
This cup is much better. Have you ever tried making a replica of the pictures from the books?
No. I don't like copying exactly other artists' work. I would rather take elements of it or compositional ideas or something like that. But I don't want to just. We did 60 Days of Studying the Masters where I literally did copy someone else's work, just kind of more in my style. But I don't do that for fun, no.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions, and I'm not sure how you're going to answer these, and I don't even know how this question makes sense, but it might make sense to you. Does tracing a sketch onto another piece of paper to make it into a proper drawing cheating?
No, there's no such thing as cheating.
If I'm its original piece of work?
Nope, no such thing as cheating.
Okay.
I could trace this, and it's not cheating.
And here's another good question. Scott, how do you find drawing people and animals in a live setting, like when you do zoo visits and outside settings?
I take a photo. So if you'll notice, for everything you see in my sketchbook, you'll notice that there'll be a photo exactly of that because the animals are constantly moving.
Correct.
Cars and planes and whatever. So if I'm sitting at an airport sketching the plane, I'll still take a photograph because they might call, there might be a fire alarm or something like that,
Yep.
So the very first thing I always do is take a photo. So that's it, because I very rarely, if you guys go back to the live from last Wednesday, I think, a week ago, I think I was working, I finished up the painting of the tortoises because I didn't get to finish them. But this one is really cute. I really like.
Ooh, I love that one.
This one, and there's a lot of movement to it. Like let's do this.
That's lovely. I love her sleeves.
See, but this is so much fun to just sit and draw. Pencil sharpener. I think it's time to.
Is it time for the pencil extender?
For the extender.
Yay.
Okay, so.
Okay.
So you're gonna think biggest shapes right here. This is the shapes.
Oh. Okay, WJBVII sent you a tip.
Oh, thank you.
And their comment is, I live in a small town and have no access to a studio or class for live figure drawing. Are photos good enough, or am I lying to myself?
No. Photos are just fine. Look at what I'm doing right now. This is great practice.
And guess what? You can go, if you go to any of the museums, they all have websites. And you can go and you can sketch some of the things in the Louvre. You can sketch the statues, and you can sketch the paintings, and you can sketch, if you go to the British Museum website, they have tons of things there you can sketch. You can sketch the Rosetta Stone if you wanted to. There are so many ways that you can draw things and do figure drawing that you don't have to actually be out or go to a class. Don't give up. Have you taken a look at The Artist's Way? Talking about journals made me think of it. Okay, so I have desperately been trying to get my hands on The Artist's Way. I think I'm just going to end up having to buy it. It's not available on my Scribd. Every time I get it at the library, it is like a 97 million week hold. But I desperately want to read that. it's supposed to be very, very, very good for journaling. And I do want to read that. Okay, so Scott's gotten all these photos from ArtStation.
Yeah, these are purchased. And you can see links to similar ones and where I get them on our channel or on our website. Mm-hmm. But you see how in just a couple minutes you can kind of have this nice little kind of idea of
mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the flow of that. How you did that.
It's fun to do these.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, and this is not a question anybody's asked, but this is just from me. Do you think that doing these sketches has helped you become a better artist? Does it help you learn how to do composition on things?
So I think what you start to do, the more you do these, the more you stop copying exactly. So I didn't do the folds exactly as I saw them. And this is a lot of this is studying stuff like Alphonse Mucha's Art Nouveau and whatever, but you start to stylize stuff, which is great. Let me get past the T-pose.
What's the best eraser for people who use B pencils?
I like the Magic Eraser from Prismacolor.
Okay, I use B pencils, and there is an eraser. It has a little sumo guy on it. I know Steph Nerd's going to know what I'm talking about. I have to find it. I'll find it, but it is the best eraser for B pencils. What was it like being neurodivergent and dealing with the 4th of July? As a person who's been diagnosed with autism spectrum and ADHD, it was quite overstimulating for me.
It wasn't for me because I had my headphones on and I was in bed. So, mm-hmm. But in the past, we went out front with the kids and mm-hmm. we, lit off fireworks. But,
how did you deal with that? Because it was so loud when we were dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
And they were doing firecrackers and all this stuff, and you never complained.
Yeah, because with the kids.
Wow. What is your favorite part of your style?
I like when the inking really comes out nice.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. And I like writing with a fountain pen.
All right, so she is completely in the air, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, just for clarity, 2 different types of journaling that we do. Scott does an art journal, and so he'll draw through our trips and I will write. Any tips for starting out journaling? I want to start, but I don't know where to begin. Adeline, are you writing or are you drawing? Thank you for all your comments and everything, guys, but it's okay. It's hard to lose a parent. And Obi Mom, I feel for you. My dad and my father-in-law and my dog all died of congestive heart failure, if you can believe that. And it presents the exact same way in animals that it does in humans. It's kind of crazy. Is art school worth it, honey?
Only if you're good at school. If you're somebody who learns from mentors and assignments and whatnot, then yeah, of course it's going to be great for you. I wasn't. I was not. I didn't get diagnosed until 53 years old, so I didn't know I was autistic. So I just had a very hard time with art school and just school in general. And but a lot of the stuff stuck eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It just took years for me to go, oh, that's really it. By the way, so if you notice her knee is over here. So it's kind of going this way. And I didn't really like that. So I moved her knee over to here.
It's a little blown out when you move your hand over.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
But you see how I moved her knee here now? Mm-hmm. So her leg's kind of going this way, which kind of, And I think I might even, I don't know, would I want to do this for her leg maybe?
That is a great quote. Sarah Wilson said, Anne Frank said that paper is patient. That is a great quote. Paper is patient, and paper never stops listening to you. Martha asks, any ideas how I could add uniqueness to my GCSE art course? Everyone is given the same instructions, and I want to find a way to stand out.
You're going to go your whole life trying to find your style. Don't expect to find it in high school. That said, if you want to do something that is going to be unique, try doing that same assignment in a different style. Art Nouveau, Impressionism. Take a little something. Try different kind of color sets. Try different kind of painting. Something. That's what's going to set you apart. Mm-hmm. But I really like this kind of fawn, kind of with the flute kind of thing is really cute. I was going to
say forest nymph, but I think you're right. Fawn is a better.
Well, she has her nose kind of painted like.
Now I see it.
And the antlers and everything.
I see it. Thank you, 3B's Art. Bryson Butler, Art Station is where these photos have come from. Wee Wee says, coming here is soothing for my nerves. It's calm and safe, and I've learned so much.
Oh, thank you.
Well, this is a safe place for everybody, and we know we've been pretty raw with you guys and pretty open about all the struggles we've had over the last few years.
So here's the thing. So she's in the middle of a spin, right? Mm-hmm. If I was to draw this, it just wouldn't look right. Like, you'll believe it because it's a photo, but if I was to draw it, it wouldn't look right. So what I would do is, let's see, let's just kind of see her feet are twisted because she's turning.
Mm-hmm. Would you have to make them straight?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I was going to do this as a single image without context, I would do this, and then I would have just this part kind of kicking back.
Does it ever happen
and have the flow be like this, you see? Mm-hmm. Rather than that. But this is just, you can use this reference.
Just know you have to change a few things.
You don't have to. If I was to do it with her foot twisted, I'm just saying as an artist, people are going to look at it and go, why is her foot twisted like that? You know what I'm saying? They're just, because you don't know that, hey, this is her spinning around, you know? But so you have to think of things like that when you're using a photo reference. What's the context that people are going to take from it?
Interesting. Does it ever happen that some days you just can't draw?
Yep. That's pretty much every day.
Modern Cat says, my mom loves journaling, so I bought her a few journaling supplies recently, and I hope she likes it. I'm sure she'll love it. Blick says, Donna, we're glad we connected here in this community. Even if it's a work, the connections we make are meaningful to us, and we want you to know we really do feel good about what you and Scott do here. Oh,
thank you.
Thank you so much. We're so happy that you guys are here with us.
So
Scott does not draw babies, Camille. He does, and he agrees with you. He finds them very, very difficult to paint.
Yeah. So again, I just want to say, like, just $6 for a set of 520 photos can give me inspiration for 10 paintings or more.
Yep.
And
unless you're Bethany, in which case that's the rest of your life.
But I think these are things that everybody's looking for inspiration, and they have stuff. They have science fiction. They've got comic book. They've got just people in just underwear or whatever. If you want to do like comic book stuff, they've got pirates. They've got Dungeons and Dragons and whatever. So
all sorts of things.
Yeah.
New account says, I personally don't use more expensive sketchbooks, so when I bought one, I don't feel inspired to draw something because I'm scared of messing it up. Do you have any tips on that?
Say it one more time.
I personally don't use more expensive sketchbooks, so when I bought one, I don't feel inspired to draw something because I'm scared of messing it up. Do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, I do that too, or at least I did. I mean, this is a cheaper sketchbook, and it's filled with just Ian McKellen and whatever stuff that I would do, and these are not stuff that I'm going to show or whatever.
Except here.
Except, but and then I've got my nicer sketchbook for when I want to do nicer stuff, like my travel journal. But you can just, for the rest of your life, have just a generic sketchbook that you just sketch in, and that's it. That's that. And if that makes you happy, then do that thing. But honestly, if at some point you want to start doing nicer sketchbook stuff, you're just going to have to go for it. And you're going to have to just go, okay.
Talk about what you did for your travel journals, that first page.
Yeah, I have a video on that, but also there's a video where you got to do 100 bad drawings to get one good one. And if you look, all of them are sketchbooks. And when I did the Lord of the Rings sketchbook, which was just 2 years ago, actually it might have just been last year.
Maybe last year, I think.
I think it was last year because we had just maybe a year and a half ago, we had just come onto YouTube, and I would say about every 10th painting I was not happy with, and that was just last year. And now I'm, like I might mess up every once in a while, but it's not very often. And
but you're doing it so much.
Yeah, but I had to go through so many sketchbooks where I would, and the video was like, it was high school, and it was like I did a whole sketchbook and I only liked one drawing.
Yeah.
Now again, those weren't really nice art materials, but you kind of have to work through it to where, at least in the cheaper sketchbooks, you're going, you know what, I like most of my drawings now. Now you can maybe move over to the more expensive stuff.
Oh, it's 10:30.
Is it already? Well, we started late, huh?
We did start late.
Oh, look at this costume.
Okay, so the best cheap alcohol markers.
The best cheap alcohol markers were by Artbeak. And there's a link in for all of the alcohol markers
that we've tried.
The Ohuhu, the Blick, the Artbeak are all on our channel under the products we've tried.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Blick says, when Rubens traveled as a diplomat as the leading painter in Europe, he took time to copy paintings by Titian for his own enjoyment and development. No shame in copying for the right reasons.
Exactly.
That is 1,000% correct. And Blaze, I think you should think about that, because there's not an artist out there who hasn't used photo reference. Norman Rockwell used photo reference for every single cover
and I
he
like
ever
to just
did.
say reference, because before photos, artists would still use reference. Da Vinci, Michelangelo, they used reference.
They would pose people, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
How long did it take to think, design, draw, animate, and complete your movie Animal Crackers?
10 years, I would say.
A long time.
I came up with the idea maybe back, maybe 2007, 2008. I wrote the book maybe 2009. I wrote the screenplay maybe 2011. And then we got the funding in 2014. And then the film was finished 2017, and it didn't come out till 2020.
Yeah. Long process. Okay, so for the record, that eraser we were talking about that erases really, really well for B pencils is the Sakura Sumo Grip Premium Eraser. And I will give Bethany a link to that, and we'll put that on our resources page. Yeah, the live started 30 minutes late today, so we're going a little bit later. And yes, the winners were announced on Monday, and the of the Spider-Man art, and they are linked in the community channel of both of our YouTube pages. Is there any suggestions for how to draw comfortably? I get really nervous and can barely put out what I think when I start drawing.
Okay, so again, if you're trying to draw out of your head, that's a completely different place than what I'm doing. I work from reference. So I'm getting my inspiration from photos and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So if you're having a hard time coming up with something and then sticking to that thing, that might be something that there might be another artist, like a cartoonist or something like that, or that might be able to help you with that. But for me, it is finding photo reference that inspires me and then moving to do that.
Uncle Iro, if you look on our website, there are two lists. One is Scott's art supplies, and then there's our resources, art supplies we've tried. Scott's art supplies are all of the things that he uses currently and all of the things that are his favorites. Let's see. What were your thoughts on watercolors before making the switch from colored pencils to watercolors?
Oh God. I thought they were, I was, to be honest, my entire life, I was terrified of paintbrushes. It's just a tactile thing. It is you pull a paintbrush and you push a pencil. So I was like, I'll never be able to learn that. And I think at some point I just decided I was just so tired of colored pencils that I just had to go for it. And what helped was the inking. The inking gave me the confidence to say, okay, I've got that pushing, I've got that sense of familiarity of drawing that's laid down. And then from there, I could go ahead and just kind of let the watercolors be kind of just wishy and washy and flowy and whatever.
Is that a technical term?
Yes.
Wishy and washy?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Sorry, I have to laugh. It's kind of funny. I'm good at drawing hair, but I can't draw clothes. What are your tips for drawing clothes?
See what I'm doing right now? Mm-hmm. That's it. You're looking at flowing clothes. You're looking at how it drapes. Look at the folds in here. You got here's your arm is underneath it. And then it's bunching. It's draping. It's folding in on itself. Here's a tight part. This is a seam right here. See that? Mm-hmm. So there's that seam, so it's being pulled up against that. And you won't learn that from here's an art hack. You gotta do it. You gotta just draw and draw and draw and draw and draw. And you start to see the three-dimensionality of it and why is it bending and why is it folding, and that's the fun of it. That's why you do the figure drawing, and you do clothes figure drawing, and it's so fun. But you got to do it, Same thing as drawing faces, There's no, you don't need an art hack for this. Can you guys see this? Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a little blown out. Can you pull it down a little further? There you go. Thank you. That's perfect.
You got this here. And then, you got the eyes.
Okay, so I'm going to answer a question while you do that.
Yeah.
Aaron, yes, I am a fountain pen user. I have a Conklin. It's an abalone shell pen, and my favorite ink is also the Diamine brand, but I like Writer's Blood. That is my favorite ink. And I use an Archer and Olive notebook to put in there.
But anyways, sorry for the late start today, everybody. But I hope you guys, like this. I like the idea of us doing more of this, where we're, looking at photo reference and sketching from it. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be something you guys would want to do, or we go, hey, we're going to do figure drawing. I'll pull up a pose, and then we're all going to sit and sketch it for 5 minutes, and then we move on to the next one. Or we use it. We say, okay, this is the photo we're going to use for a painting, and we're going to do that. But tell me what you think. Tell me what you guys would like to do.
You guys have any thoughts before we head out? Okay, I had a couple of questions on markers and colored pencils.
Okay.
Do you do colored pencils underneath markers? Do you do markers underneath colored pencils?
It depends. Sometimes I want to just fill up the area with markers and go over it with colored pencils. Other times I'll do colored pencils, and then I'll just use the markers to blend. It just depends.
Scott's favorite thing to draw is hair. And if you want to talk about skin tones, there's a great blending it in the a great video about blending in the marker playlist. And I like the Lizzo painting because I could see, and I am not an artist at all, I could see the blending in there, and I think that was really cool. Do you have any tips for blending colored pencils?
Push down hard. That's how you blend them.
A movie Monday would be cool. Love the figure drawing idea. I think we should draw together on the live. Do you think you could make a video step by step on how to draw something, kind of like a tutorial?
I have a few of those in the Art Hacks playlist.
Let's see. Ryan says, I have a bottle of platinum carbon ink and 2 Peter pens, but have yet to use either. I hate being busy. Yeah, it's time for you to pull those out. You have summer at your fingertips. Do you ink underneath your gouache?
No. Gouache is going to cover everything up. So I'll sometimes even just draw with a colored pencil because it'll get covered up. But yeah, gouache will cover everything up.
Pam Zimmer says, do you have any tips on how to draw without a grid? Because your proportions are amazing, but whenever I try drawing people without reference, it never looks like my subject. Thank you.
Well, thank you. If you remember, my proportions were not amazing. I had to do it again. And so sometimes you got to draw it a few times to get it right. Don't be afraid of getting cheap paper, drawing it, getting it right. The other thing you can do is you can trace it. So if I wanted to, here, let me show you guys. You guys see this okay?
We can. Okay. And while Scott does that, I journal about everything. I journal about my feelings. I journal about the day. I put a list of journal prompts on the community channel of my YouTube page so you can see that. And I do use a notebook. I'm actually doing a giveaway, Dover, and if you want, you can go to my community channel has a link to the giveaway in there. I also have a video that has a link to the giveaway, and you can try to win some journaling supplies.
Okay. I don't know how to make this stop being... All right, but you guys can see this okay? Yes, dear?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So again...
Santa says wishy and washy sounds like the names of 2 of my elves. I'm sorry, this is what I was laughing at.
You can always get some tracing paper and just put it on top of an iPad or your monitor or whatever you have and get your proportions right that way. If you can't...
Blick, do you have tracing paper available in your store? I'm assuming that you do. Maybe we could put a link into that if anybody wants tracing paper. Wow. You are just really going for it, aren't you?
Well, I'm like, why am I spending a lot of time on it? You know, I'm just like, but you know, and then you got your proportions.
You have basic shapes.
Exactly. So you can always
Wait a
do
minute.
that.
How do you transfer that to paper then?
This is on paper, but if I wanted to...
No, like paper to paint on or draw
You
on.
can use transfer paper. Remember I did a video with the gorgeous one? You can just take transfer paper, put that down on your regular one, and then you just draw over it. I usually do it with ink so that way you know what part you've, you know, like a ballpoint pen, and that will push down, that will transfer onto your watercolor paper. So you can always do that. Always, you know. The only thing like I'm having a problem with is if I rest my hand on here, it was moving it, you see? So you want to make sure that you, I don't know if you could turn it off or however you do, or lock the screen or something, but yeah, that's what I would recommend if you want to do. Another thing is there is an app called, let's see if I have it here, Projector.
Ah.
Where you can go to your photo library and take a picture. And you see, here's the pencil. You guys see that?
Yeah.
And you know, you would want to keep it still, but you could sit here and you could just trace like this. And that's free.
Yep, that's a free app.
So there's lots of ways that you can get your proportions right by doing that. But of course, the best thing to do is just to keep practicing. But you're under no obligation to do it freehand. None. You are totally... I trace my stuff all the time, especially if I'm doing something where I need to get the likeness right. Of course I will.
When you're searching for these photo references, what do you search for?
I did not search for these photo references. I had already found ArtStation.
Mm-hmm.
But
when you're on ArtStation, what do you look for?
I just look under resources. You look under resources, and they have people with photo reference. And then I don't like.
But it's not under a specific genre.
No. It's just resources. Like I said, You'll see military, you'll see science fiction, you'll see, fantasy, lots of nude stuff, and I just keep scrolling till I see pretty dresses or fantasy stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I add it to my cart.
Okay. All right. So I know you guys, there's a lot of you that have questions today. Sorry. And put a pin in those, or
once Donna ends the video, the live, there'll be a video. You can add questions there.
Yeah, you can ask questions on that live at that point. So, but thanks for being here with us today, guys. And we're gonna head out, and we will see you on Friday. How about cookies and crafts, snacks and sketching, treats and techniques? Either way, cookies with art. Let me think. Who would post cookies and art? Santa.
Well, Santa and I have to do a live together where we paint together, because Santa's paintings are out of this world.
Okay, and somebody asked in the comments when Santa's live. Santa is live on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time. So Santa goes live 2 hours later than we do, because, the North Pole has wonky times. So wonkier than where we are.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Yes. That's actually accurate. Yeah. So that's when Santa's live. So join Santa next week. He was live yesterday. Also, you can watch our movie Animal Crackers on Netflix. That is where we are. We are on Netflix. So thanks for being here, guys. And thanks for putting up with us today, being a little bit late.
And a little chaotic as always.
Yeah, but chaos is always good. And we will see you guys on Friday. And maybe bring your pencils and a sketchbook if you guys want to try something. Or, you know what? If you write instead of draw, bring a pencil and a piece of paper, and maybe something will inspire you to write a story. Who knows? So we will see you on Friday. Have a great one, guys.